variation is a plyometric movement. I'm sure you've seen these. They're clapping dips. So clapping dips, you basically do a dip, then you launch yourself off the bars, and then you clap in midair and then re-grab. So clapping dips require a lot of explosiveness and hand speed as well. So depending on, if you're really explosive, your hands don't have to be as fast. If your hands are really fast, you don't have to be as explosive. Preferably, you want to be more explosive than relying on hand speed, because that's where you're really getting, that's where you're getting your gains from, is from that power you're creating to launch yourself. But hand speed does come into play, because obviously you have to be quick and then re-grab. So on this one, I like to do like 1 or 2 regular dips just to prep my body. And then when I'm ready, I just push off as hard as I can, let go, clap, and then re-grab. I would, the first time you're trying these, I would try them on like a low set of P-bars, not like these. These are pretty high up. I would try them on a low set just because the psychology of, falling or missing the bar can freak you out. But if you know that the ground is under you, it's a little bit safer. The downside to that is that your feet, you're probably gonna end up hitting the ground with your feet if you're on a lower P-bar before you even get to re-grab. But it allows you to get used to that feeling of just letting go of the bar. So I would try these on a low bar and then, move your way to a higher bar. All right, so the 6th dip variation that I like to do is, it's not really necessary. It's more like a fun thing to do, to work into like a P-bar flow, or a P-bar freestyle. It's not really for like, muscle gains or muscle growth or anything like that. But they're fun to do. It's another plyometric version of a dip, and that's the 180 dip. So 180 dip is basically you're doing your dips, then you let go of the bar, you spin in midair, and then you re-grab it on the other side. So the nice thing about learning the 180 is it's kind of, I would say, almost like not a prerequisite, but if you can get that down, it'll help you get the 360 muscle up, because the psychology is very similar. It's just obviously a 180 and not a 360. So and the bars are different. You go in P-bars instead of regular pull-up bar. But it's a nice thing to start with if you eventually want to lead up to that movement. So believe it or not, the 180 is not really that hard. It's just that there's a lot of things going on at the same time. So aside from most people, it's like the fear factor of letting go of the bar, right? And then, re-grabbing it. So once you get over that part, it's really technique. So the trick with the 180 is actually your legs. The movement is initiated with your legs. So what I do is I'll do like 1 or 2 dips, and then when I'm getting ready to pop off the bar, I put my legs into like a scissor kick, like this. Then I go here, and then as I push off, I literally do a roundhouse kick in the other direction at the same time as I'm launching myself off the bar. So that roundhouse kick is really what's creating the power to send your body turning. Now at the same time, what you need to do is you got to turn your head and your arms as well. So it's really like 4 things happening at the same time. That's what makes it tricky. It's like a coordination thing, right? So you're pushing off the bars, doing the roundhouse kick, and then turning your head and the rest of your torso to re-grab on the other side. The movement is initiated from the legs. But it's just important to follow through with the head and the arms, because think about it, if you just did the roundhouse kick and you kept looking in the same direction, nothing would happen. You just roundhouse kick and then you fall and bust your butt. So those are my tips. Roundhouse kick at the same time as you're pushing off, and then make sure you turn your head and the rest of your body to follow, so you can catch the bar on the other side. Similar to the clapping dips, I would recommend trying these on a lower set of parallel bars first, just to make sure that, just really the fear factor, just so you get comfortable with letting go of the bar. Probably your feet will touch the floor first the first couple times, and that's okay. It's really just about getting yourself open, conquering that fear of, pushing off, letting go, and spinning. And if the ground is closer to you, it's not as scary. So that's what I would recommend. All right, the last 2 dip variations, the 7th and 8th, I could have probably lumped this into one because they're very similar in style. These are really great for building strength gains because the time under tension is long. So I'll start with the 7th, and I call it basically the 1-minute dip. I'm not sure if in this demo I really did a full minute. It's probably close to a minute. I put the timer underneath me, but then the screen blinked out so I couldn't see it, so I was trying to count in my head, but it'll give you an idea of what it looks like. So I started out in the top part of the dip, and then over time I just slowly and progressively kept lowering and lowering and lowering And once I got to the 30-second mark, I should have been, you know, at the very bottom of my dip. And then I slowly start coming back up so that at the end of this 60 seconds, I'm all the way back at the top lockout. If the 1 minute gets too easy for you, you can obviously increase it. I mean, I've known guys that have done a minute on the way down and a minute on the way up. So you can certainly decrease it as well. If that's too hard, you could do 15 seconds on the way down, 15 seconds on the way up. The nice thing really is that you could just play around and adjust the time to suit your needs. Just try to make it so that you're going down the same time that you're coming back up, right? So if you're going down for 10 seconds, you're coming back up for 10 seconds. And it's just a really nice dip variation, a lot of time under tension, and it'll get you stronger. The 8th and final dip variation is a play on the last one. And what it is that you start out in the top part of the dip, you count for a certain amount of time. So for the example I'm going to show you, I did a 10 Mississippi count. So you count up for the 10, you're here, 10 Mississippi, then you go down to 90-degree bend, 10 Mississippi, go to the bottom of your dip, 10 Mississippi, back to 90, 10, back to lockout, 10 Mississippi, and that's 1 rep. So let me show you what that looks like. All right, guys, that was our 8th and final dip variation. There are certainly more than just 8. That's the beauty of calisthenics. You're really just limited by the creativity of your mind. And those are just some of the variations that I personally like to do. You know, give them a shot, but you know, be mindful of your ability and your skill level too, and work into the stuff gradually. It's not something you can just try like that, especially if you don't have a foundation. So always make sure you build up a solid foundation first. Don't rush into tricks, right? Like the 180 is cool, the clapping push-ups are cool, and they're fun to do, but if you're just starting out in your calisthenics or fitness journey and you can't even do, like, I don't know, 15, 20 good dips, you probably shouldn't be trying like clapping dips, because why? You know what I mean? Make sure you have that solid foundation so you don't hurt yourself and your body can try the more advanced stuff. Yeah, and that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please show some love, like the video, subscribe to the channel. More tutorials coming soon, more interviews, more of everything. Just more great calisthenics content. Street Workout Magazine, signing off from the original Muscle Beach, Santa Monica, California. Happy training.